Kurt, I've decided I need to start writing more because I went to speech therapy a lot as a kid. The words that I say, I like know the right words to say, but I can't say them, which is part of the reason why I say it in Kurtlish because like I try to say the right words, but I definitely don't pronounce like half the things right. One time at work, there was this pen that they were calling Deli, and I kept on calling it Del High because I just said it like it sounds. And then I was like, I don't think I'm saying it this right. Anyway, I don't I don't say lots of things right, and everything that I say doesn't really have a clear direction because it's connected to 70 concepts in my head. So even though I want to be a druid who doesn't write stuff down, it's really hard for me to be a druid. It's really only a koan. All I say are koans. You have to really decipher them to be able to understand what I'm trying to say. The You can't take what I say literally, which is weird to say, but in my brain it is literal. In Kurtlish it is to be taken literally, but unless you literally take it as I'm taking it, it's not going to make any sense. And in most people's paradigms of reality and knowing and what words mean, if they were to take it literally in that context, it would be total batshit craziness. So basically, what I'm trying to say is you can't know what I'm trying to say until you know what I'm trying to say. But if you know what I'm trying to say, you'll know what I'm trying to say. So if you can figure out what the fuck that meant, then we might be onto something. If not, I'm gonna have to start writing it down, maybe in academic or something. Because if I don't start writing, I'm just I have a hope and prayer that one day someone will figure out what Kurtlish means, and you'll be able to derive lots of knowledge from it. I have a weird way of looking at the world. The way that I look at the world allows all variables to be simplified in a generic structure. I can't tell you what that generic structure is until you know it, because the generic structure is Kurtlish, upon which I base my reality. But once you know it, it should all make sense. One day, if you figure out how to decipher Kurtlish, you'll just be able to watch all these videos and it'll be like fluid as fuck. But until that day, until you figure out how to listen to me, you aren't going to be able to understand what I'm trying to say, which is an issue. So I'm going to have to write lots because I can't say the words right. So just writing, just speaking without writing anything down first, it's not going to be helpful. But the only thing I like to write down is poems, which also aren't helpful because they're meant to be ambiguous in order to purvey multiple meanings. So, what I'm trying to say is academic might have a point. Formalizing on one language in order to communicate with the most people might have a point. But I'm still stubborn and don't want to use it. I'm in this book club on design patterns, and the guy that's like, I don't know, sometimes he just lectures, so I like to go there for his lectures. But it's book club. But this one guy is really smart, so I just like to listen to him. And he said that like he has a bunch of PhDs and shit. He said that design patterns are important because they allow us to put a language onto something that's common that everyone understands. So you can just say I'm using a builder pattern here, and people can understand what you're trying to do and then critique you on how you're doing that, and do you need to do it better, but or like would there be a better pattern to fit there, because they know what you're trying to do instead of you saying I am um building a complex object with this complex concrete object with this thing, which is also easier to say than I have this class that is building this class to make a complex concrete class. Is this making see you start like the more words you use, the harder it is to follow the whole idea. So if you have just like I'm using the builder class, then that if they know what the fuck you're talking about, is a lot simpler than expounding upon that idea. But yeah, there's like a balance you have to find. How many words do I have to use in order to explain this with the most simplicity while not abstracting away too much as to lose important details? That's the balance you have to strike when coming up with ways to understand and interpret reality. And I'm trying to figure it out. I'm also trying very tirelessly to become inclusive. Mutually, I always want to say mutually inclusive, but that works too. Mutually intelligible, so that you guys can understand me. But right now, I'm not mutually intelligible and I understand. But I have very important ideas to expound upon and tell the world. But until I'm able to say it in a non ambiguous, accurate fashion, there's going to be no way for anyone to take it as a truth that's easily processable and added to their paradigm. So I'm stuck because I want to be unique to me, but I also want to be generic enough and integrated enough into everyone else's realities such that they can take my knowledge and use it for the greater good, hopefully. I mean, I would expect Einstein wanted to be used for the greater good, and then they created the A bomb, so. Salarzard the Wizard. Salazar the Wizard. I don't know how to say his last name, but there's this guy who worked with Einstein on lots of his patents, and he was very against the A bomb. I have a poem about it. I can read it. I guess I have enough time. I have to find it. Szilard the Wizard. I'm not saying his name right. Righteousness stalled abdicates the angel who purchases the steeple instead of wise and sages. Christen the brainchild, Leo redeem us. Divine winds rouse Yamato, Zion within grasp, citing his citation, and his Nagi and his Nami. The little boy restrained her while the fat man came. Goddess of the sun, illuminate Sumi. The mind must know pride to cast the spell of love. It's called Szilard the Wizard, and it is written right, but I probably didn't say half those words right, which is why I should write more. But I want to get better at poetry reading so that I can read at poetry readings. I get really anxious, so that's why I'm practicing on YouTube. This is called Inside the Box. Paradigms are sold to mold the perfect form of obedience and completeness. Nothing is unknown. What does the future hold? Shifts bring drifts, and people hitch to bandwagons running off of cliffs. Paradigms bind, limiting the knowable to a finite whirlpool by design, breaking chains, what is left behind. Awareness shifts and finds a beautiful surprise. Nothing is known. Awareness mirrors karma. This existing that arises, the whirlpool widens. This is called the Cave of Wonders. Sandoz guards the cave of wonders, stand before Lucifer, fear abounds. Should you remain open sesame, abandon all hope, slay all cowardice, sing the song of thy kingdom come to find freedom on earth as it is in heaven. Diamonds in the sky, fractals compound high, heathens run the game, God's a little strange, deliver us from evil, deliver us to love. Normal cannot beat through normal feats. Normal cannot be beat through normal feats. Evil appears virtuous by feigning ignorance. Ignorance is bliss. So mote it be. I tried. Like I said, I can't say half the words right. At least I'm aware that I'm saying them wrong as I'm saying them, but it doesn't help me in saying them right because I've already said them wrong as I'm saying them. This is called Glory Hallelujah. Out of the routine, art in the machine, glory, hallelujah, am I free? Banish me to hell, go on wishing well, if a cog is what I be. Stifled by those put asunder, got to blend or I'm in trouble. The understudies fight each other to be the leading flea. Heathens rule, I am a fool to think I can be free. A fool is wise in a world beguiled to place power in another. Righteous power is recursive as above, so below. As below, so above. Freedom, a heaven sent. Glory, hallelujah. This is called mockingjays. Is what most people are. Read to God, fuck. I can't say my R, so they really retweet. The mockingjays sing. Fake news, the mockingjays bring. Hate begets hate, fate begets fate. Round and round we sing along. What do we bequeath? The same old song. I just added that last line. I knew it was missing something. That poem's finally finished. It's finally finished. I'd come if I were crucified. I'd come if I were crucified. I'd come if I were crucified and left to die. I won't go until I'm crucified. I won't go until I'm crucified. I won't go until I'm crucified. I'm too proud to die. By me. I don't know if you guys know this, but there's this dude named Epicurus, and I'm kind of in love with him. He wrote this letter called Epicurus to Meniscus. I don't think that's the letter name. I don't think he labeled the letter. I think that's what people labeled it post. But he said that to be unafraid of death is to become a god among men. And with that in mind, this is called man's deathbed. Epicurus is dead. Is it possible for a god among men to lie in a man's deathbed, shedding your soul and your life's end, to realize the things left unsaid, to regret the things left undid, holding out for life's greatest sin, the terror of when it all begins, fear of life and fear of death entwine, a holy union of time to prevent those from true life, to prevent those from seeing the light. Egoless beings rule all things. Egoless beings live in everything. They cannot die. So, as I'm saying and trying to read poetry, it's very hard for me to read poetry, but I try. So, if you don't understand me, try to just figure it out until you understand. Chances are, what I'm trying to say makes logical sense. You just have to look at it a couple times until you figure out what I'm actually trying to say. I'll try to write my shit down more, but it's hard for me to write because I don't have much time. Writing takes more precision than speaking, which is the problem.